he was clearly very, very practiced on the hero. He dodged AoE spells with his spiders. Like, Timbersaw was trying to kill those. He'd be like, nope, well, just going to move these around, dodge the gold gain. Yeah. He played that really well.
Yeah, he plays it in the pubs for fun when he's streaming. I mean, it's
disturbing.
It is disturbing and disgusting, Vogt.
Arachnophobia across the board.
He likes pets.
Yeah. I mean, this is a man that spammed Nature's Prophet and Lone Druid all the way to the top of the leaderboard, so...
Not unexpected.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think they may ban the Brood? Is it bannable? Second phase, maybe?
I believe
Is it worth?
I think that's a good
second phase,
good idea.
Yeah. Just to stop that from being a thing. And
right, but you don't want to overreact to it either.
Yeah, sure.
And only if the draft is vulnerable to it, I think. You don't do it every time if you don't have good AoE, if you fear it a little bit. It's something that's going to be banned against Alliance for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
I did like how you said, though, this seems like it's going to be the staple Broodmother build if we do see more Broodmother.
Yeah, the Echo Saber just solves a lot of problems. You need utility. You don't have to get a Basher instead. It's cheaper than that. It gives you mana. It helps make up for your pretty weak stat gain as a whole. You can double hit with your ult. It's quite good.
Just want to point out we've got the draft timers now.
Oh, beautiful!
Ooh,
yes, everybody's going to be so happy.
One of the requests from the people out there.
That's
so I'm glad we've got those on there.
Well, something else we
Thank you to
PGL.
PGL.
So first phase Brood ban. Do you think this is an overreaction?
Yes. Well,
I did ask, and I posed the question in the sense of should we see it phase 2? But that's early.
It may be an overreaction, but maybe they just don't feel comfortable playing with it. So they're just like, you know what?
Get it out of the way straight
It really
away.
just took us off completely out of our comfort zone. So you know what? We don't want that to happen again.
But to be fair, are they going to pick it first phase? They're not going to pick it first phase, are they? It leaves them too open.
With everything we said about Alliance's ability to just sit back and farm, Brood was a perfect example of a hero that can do that. So if it's just gone, like, it's hard to gank. You can just AFK farm the jungle. You can scout with spiders. It poses such a huge problem. You need a gem minimum to deal with that, or the right heroes, that can lane against it. It's just such a diverse problem.
Okay,
maybe
so instead we get the Rubik back. So Alliance get their Rubik. So I guess they're quite happy either way, really.
Yeah, they're going back to something that they're used to, that they've been trying to make work for a while. It's the EGM Rubik. S4 loves his mid Leshrac, desperately trying to make it work. He hasn't seen that much success with it, but maybe he makes it work out this time.
I like how he just puts it out there, though. There's no fear. He's not like, yeah, we're going to wait to pick the Lash. It might get banned. He's like, you know, just take it. You know, it synergizes well with the Rubik, of course, with the combo of the lift into the stun. They can make easy rotations onto the mid lane for S4. And he just loves the hero.
They've gotten 2 wins on it so far, actually. They have not lost with it at this tournament, at least.
They've definitely lost it with it before at other tournaments, though.
Definitely possible.
Yeah.
It's not the best versus Slaughter. Lush usually builds pretty tanky, and he will increase physical damage.
Okay, slightly skewed off the meta, but not terribly out of the meta is the Oracle. We have seen it here. Has been used pretty effectively as well.
Soneko's Oracle is actually very, very good.
I think he's, if not the best, one of the best. Like him and Z-Freak and Hanskin stand out to me at least.
He makes the hero look like it's not even about buffing your allies. It's about killing people.
Yeah.
And that's what he does with the hero. And it's the same with his Phoenix game. He was actually just like dual laning mid that entire game, and he still hit level 7 at a super reasonable time, a very fast time.
Yeah.
But second phase ban, so DP's in there.
It's really good against Lesh as well, because he could just cast that on Slaughter and make him magic immune.
Yeah, the Fate's Edict is extremely powerful versus mass magic damage. And yeah, the DP ban.
Makes a lot of sense. If you saw in the last game with Liquid versus Cole, DP actually gave Leshrac a lot of trouble, just because Leshrac, you want to be able to outlane your opponent by constantly harassing them down with lightning. You want to wear them down slowly over time. DP doesn't really fear that much because she has the Siphon to keep up her HP, and she can spam with you and match you with her Crypt Swarm.
Yeah, and Siphon, I feel like, completely counteracts Edict. Like if you want to walk up and Edict him, he just siphons you, and it pretty much heals you the exact same amount, and it slows you, so he can just walk away from you.
Yeah, it's a great way to scale well against Lesh. Lesh is mostly AoE, so a very tanky hero like Death Prophet can definitely deal with that damage. And Silence is good too.
Yeah.
Well, Na'Vi bans out the Bulldog Lone Druid. They don't want to deal with that. Maybe bring Bulldog out of his comfort zone this game. There's 2 targeted bans already.
Yeah, and also it just synergizes quite well with Leshrac, you know, having that frontliner so Leshrac can get his spells off, have the Edict as well for pushing down towers. Drow ban.
It's
pretty ordinary.
Not too surprising.
Na'Vi, yeah.
Na'Vi has run it before, and it's synergize as well with the Slardar.
Yep.
They have run it with the Windrunner as well, haven't they? So.
Yeah.
I think they can deal with Windrunner. It looked really good last game. Dendy's ability to land shackle shots is
very
incredible,
comfortable on it, isn't he? Very comfortable.
Yeah, extremely comfortable.
It's a late game. It can be a late game carry that also has early game playmaking ability and lanes well against so many different heroes.
So faces Void Ban as well.
Yeah. You okay with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they don't really want to be dealing with this mass team fight again. You know, there's already Lesh, which is incredibly good at team fight. EGM's Rubik is quite good in team fight as well. Void just might be putting it over the top for them. And it looks like Na'Vi might be drafting toward a, you know, like pick-off type lineup.
Something that they're very used to and play a lot.
Yeah, heavy aggression in the early laning phase and pick off into the mid game.
I like the Dazzle.
You
have an Oracle, we have a Dazzle.
I really like the Dazzle to kind of like counteract the amplified damage as well, of course, with Weave, and then obviously the Grave in order to
it counteracts Navi's playstyle.
And it does counteract Navi's playstyle a lot, yeah.
It's pretty good with Leshrac also. Just guarantees that he doesn't die. He can always output damage when he's being Grave, so even if he does go down, the amount of damage that Lesh can deal out in 5 seconds is actually incredible, even if he's stunned the whole time.
Yeah, it's also it's very similar to the draft that they had yesterday versus Fnatic. They actually had the Slardar, but they had Rubik, Leshrac, Dazzle, Furion. So maybe we'll be seeing Bulldog going for that Furion again.
Is Furion good against Slardar? Not so much, but at some stage good.
It's good in the laning phase if you get like a 1v1 or something, obviously, but Slardar is one of the better heroes at catching out of Furion.
Furion also puts a lot of pressure on the lane, though. He can really mess with the supports who really need levels, and I think Oracle can be one of those. So he can, obviously constantly be sending the treants to like mess with the pull, but we'll see if Alliance decides to go for that. If not, for a different hero and a Nyx assassin.
That makes this harder now. I think Prophet would have been fine otherwise, but now it's a little tougher.
Now it's definitely tougher.
Like Brood, for example, sitting in jungle, mostly invis, fairly safe, but now if it's a Prophet standing there hitting creeps, Nyx is going to find him almost every time.
And Nyx is incredible versus all 3 heroes right now in Alliance. Like, of course, versus the Leshrac, it's obvious, but he has very squishy supports which you can just kind of pick off by himself.
Yeah, we've seen the Dendy play it already, great effect against the Phoenix, and Leshrac is similar in a lot of ways. If you turn on your spells, you are going to get hit by the Spike Carapace.
Yeah, and Mana Burn is, Leshrac is one of the heroes with like the highest int gain in Dota, so it's going to be quite strong in the later stages of the game if they get to that point.
It's such a hard problem now for him too. He needs HP, obviously, because Lesh always needs HP. He needs magic immunity against Nyx. He needs armor against Slardar. That's the trifecta problem for those tanky int cores like Lesh and DP. At least he's got Dazzle to offset that a bit. Weave will help, but...
And the null field from Rubik.
That is actually a great point.
Yeah. We do see EGM doesn't always skill it. Sometimes he does go for the 4-4, but I think in this draft he probably will go like 2 points in lift and go for that maxing the aura.
I mean, one early can be like by 8 or something minimum. I think is worth it, especially against Oracle. The more you resist, the more it heals you afterwards.
Yeah.
So they're looking for a carry or their offlane hero. Okay.
Ooh.
So offlane Night Stalker. This should help offset the Nyx a lot. It's quite good versus Slardar as well, just because if you're running around as a team, you should be able to get the drop on him before he gets hit on you. Unlike last game. Last game, every single fight was Na'Vi going in with Slar.
Do you think maybe...
Go back for the Chen here.
Yeah, they go back for the Chen. I was going to actually ask you, do you think that maybe they're expecting the Nyx mid and they're trying to put the Night Stalker mid and going for some like aggro tri-lane and putting Bulldog into a 1v1?
They might, because
that's a very Alliance approach.
This definitely should be a Nyx mid, especially with that Chen pickup.
Right, and that's a very, that Night Stalker, like the first thing that comes to my mind, at least for a mid, like a mid Night Stalker, that's S4, 100%. So it's really interesting.
Does play Leshrac as well. This used to be one of his staple heroes back in Dota 1.
Back in Dota 1.
So who goes Rubik?
Really interesting.
Who plays Rubik?
EGM.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That should be an OK Dazzle. What do you feel about the Chen pick? This is like a comfort Na'Vi pick, but do you see too much of a point? It helps push down towers, but do you see a lot of synergy here with that Chen?
It's a mech holder, so it gives them that mid-game team fight, which they do like, which we were talking about. It gives them push, which they're lacking at the moment.
It does mix with Oracle very well, but if Slardar's their carry, then do they really need to heal that guy? Kind of. I guess they could ulti him and try to get him to kill Lesh, but
Like,
I just don't like Slar that much here as a carry. He takes like 3 items until he becomes a regular carry, and he has to do well that whole time.
right?
Unless you're MVP.
Unless you're MVP.
Then you just run at everybody.
Yeah, if he goes Armlet. If he goes Armlet here, I think it could work. Blink Armlet, safe lane, maybe farm Armlet first, maybe go.
Oh,
well, we've been waiting
Oracle Huskar.
Okay.
First one we've had at the main event has already picked, of course, during the Manila Major, but the first one we've had in the stadium.
They had no hesitation on that either. They definitely had this plan in mind.
That was a great pick there.
If that's a carry Leshrac and a mid Night Stalker, what does the Lions do here? That's a real good pick against both of those.
With Fate's Edict, it gets really tough. Like, Huskar doesn't have as much magic resistance as he used to.
No, he doesn't.
You can lower him down. It's like 50% max when you're almost dead. So they can lower his HP down. They've got some mischance on Night Stalker. That's one of the big things they have going for them.
Yes.
No field's going to stop the fire damage. It's not looking good, but there are options.
No. Whoa.
All right.
Big change up. That's definitely an adjustment from the draft.
Okay, so the Naga comes out as well, and that'll be
Bulldog
for
on the
Loader.
Night Stalker.
Yeah. So yeah, Bulldog on the Night Stalker and Loader on the Naga.
So Dendi will get his mid matchup against S4 on that Leshrac.
Indeed he will. Okay, final thoughts. Charlie, which way's the draft gone?
Ooh.
Tough one, right?
This really is tough, but I'm going to favor Navi again.
Okay.
I like the Huskar Oracle a lot. Nyx looks real good here. The only thing that I question a bit is the Chen, but other than that, I think Navi looks real strong.
Okay, very quickly, Fog.
I think, like Purge was saying, if Alliance just sits back and does their farm thing, they're going to take it. So I'm going to go with Alliance.
Okay.
I like Navi better here. The heals with Huskar, they can take towers and push their advantage. I think their draft is better.
Okay, time to head over to our commentary team for the second game. Are Alliance on their way through, or can Navi hold on? Let's find out with LD and Malini.
Welcome into game number 2, folks. That's right. El Clasico continues now. Alliance versus Navi. Game 2. Are you guys excited for this? They sound pretty excited. Let's get into it. Game's underway.
Navi versus Alliance.
So we arrive at a familiar place, Ben, one you've inhabited for over a decade now. Dota 2. Dota.
Well,
Alliance on the smoke. They're going to get this party started nice and early. They sweep around from the side. Yara yet to break this smoke, but a good position here from Navi, and they will poke him forward just a little bit. Now EGM has been scouted out. Alliance potentially going for the jugular with that early push into the Chen's Woods. They do drop down a solitary sentry here to block that camp. Not committing too much more. One observer ward, though. Not actually a camp block, but will track the Chen's movements. So, with that first smoke gank not resulting in a kill, thoughts on the Huskar last pick? Can Alliance deal with it?
I don't think they have the right cores to deal with it. Naga Siren, if it gets past 30, 35, I like Alliance's lineup a lot more, but Huskar has the potential to just be that siege engine really early on with the Solar Crest, and then you have a Chen and Oracle to support him in the backline. I think Navi could end the game early with the Huskar. It's something that you need when you're one game away from elimination.
Yeah, taking a page here perhaps out of the Mineski playbook, something that they're not afraid to run, and Navi guarding it well. They saved it for 5th pick. They do run Oracle just as a standalone Oracle, not necessarily with a Huskar in particular all the time, so it's definitely not something Alliance saw coming. Benny on a totally different type of hero early in the Tinker, but with that, we get underway now with the laning stage, so we're going to see the mid-core Leshrac, something that most other teams have not run successfully. I did see Alliance run it pretty well. It was with a Loda Centaur, though, and he got an Ag, so the Leshrac had a lot of help later on in the game and became much tankier and more difficult to deal with.
Liquid runs it all the time. Sometimes I see it first band out versus them. I think it's these two teams in particular that like the Leshrac, and we has experimented with it now and then.
Yeah, mixed results for the other teams, but
already smoked from art style with just a lone Satyr Tormentor.
And again, Alliance running the full-on aggressive tri-lane. Basically, nobody else is doing this, but they keep on coming back to it, and hey, it worked in game 1.
It's really strong with the Rubik.
that heal bomb. You've got the lift, the net follow-up, and they're going to let it go now. Huge nuke damage off the bat and Yarat. One more auto attack, forced to pop the Fairy Fire, but gets muscled down by EGM. The backups arrived. Artstyle at least try to salvage this one. A counter Fairy Fire comes out, EGM into the trees. Juki, for all he's worth, they'll send the creep there to deal with him. Gusses the wrong way, though. EGM salving up, might just make it up for free. They're even moving forward onto Artstyle. Na'Vi unable to even get a counter kill on the support there. Disastrous start here in the tri-lane, as the Chen committed a lot of time, a lot of resources, and doesn't even get a kill.
The Rubik Dazzle pull into the creeps, into the heal bomb is just incredible amounts of damage. And Huskar went for a pretty unusual build with the Windlace first. No armor on him, and he just can't tank through that damage at all.
Do you think he was expecting this tri-lane,
No.
judging by the build?
Not with a Naga, but then again, it is Alliance. They ran it a decent amount in the group stage with the Slardar replacing the Naga Siren.
Well, should Alliance go on to win this game, I'm pretty sure nobody's going to be surprised if they see an offensive tri-lane from them again. That is for darn sure. So Artstyle still hugging this top lane, so it leaves us with two 1v1 matchups here. A better start for the Slardar matched up against the Night Stalker. Doesn't have to deal with the Bulldog Brood this time around. We're not going to see Bulldog on the best farming hero. Definitely more something that is a tempo controller. So it is a change-up for him. I know Winter, well, top lane, might have some action. No, Alliance just sitting back. But I know Winter's brought up that he really feels like they need Bulldog on a farmer, and when he's not on one, it's been a sore point for Alliance, and they frequently struggle. Do you agree with that assessment?
Not if they give Low to the Naga Siren, because that's more than enough to make up for Bulldog's lack of farm if he's on a hero like Night Stalker. And it's something that they're very, very comfortable with.
He's going to grab an Invis Rune in general. Oh, this is not scouted. He's thinking about the move on mid, but realizes it could easily be called out by the Night Stalker.
More so, maybe Nyx does not have enough mana to set up. They'd have to wait too long.
So S4, for now, is getting the points in Edict and looking to become that that pushing core that Alliance tend to run in the mid lane. Dendi mana burns him a bit. Still, overall, good farm on the Alliance cores. A bit worse on Na'Vi, and critically, not an explosive start here from the Huskar, but S4. Oh, he's dropping a bit low. Dendi just short of the mana. He's going to have it for the stun. Does he want to commit for this tower dive? He's thinking about it. S4 daring him to walk in. Dendi decides to back down from the game of chicken. There's a real chess match going on here in the mid lane. As the runes will spawn now. 4 minutes in, what do we got? An illusion up towards top, a bounty at the bottom. Looks like Na'Vi will get both. Alliance don't seem too really bothered by this. They're still farming.
General swooping around from the bottom side on S4. S4 did just drop an Observer Ward and would have scouted out General had he moved into there. Artstyle has been moving around a lot, and his levels are suffering. Not even level 3 yet. Not two creeps. I like sometimes I like the playstyle of other Chens more, where he stacks up on that hero and checks runes and then harasses the lane with the Soul Satyr. But he brings his hero a lot to the lane, and he's not able to keep up any sort of farm with this movement.
And he definitely should know that there's a chance there's a ward scouting his movements here, as obviously he saw the jungle invasion earlier. So that's the point where maybe he has to make that adjustment. Has been focusing farming a bit more, but boots on the smoke coming out definitely indicates he wants to look for an aggressive move soon. And as the first nighttime gets fully underway, Bulldog will TP top.
They need to kill
with
him
the phase
S4,
boots.
I think, soon.
Looking to just snowball this lane and put Na'Vi into extinction. Born to run more than win, it seems right now. They get completely driven out of the lane. Alliance will take essentially a free tier 1 here. There's no real split push. Slardar is getting a bit of farm time on the bottom lane, and we do see the Nyx doing quite well mid as far as CS goes, but Alliance, it's really been the big change for them, Ben. They focus a lot more on objectives in the early game than they used to, and it seems they'll get off to a hot start here as well.
Opening up the map for Naga to farm, getting very good levels in their supports because they can make that big neutral pull. And all they're really sacrificing is maybe a little bit earlier of a blink tag.
Maybe S4, but Ake's in position here. He does not have a point in Shallow Grave. S4 almost getting nuked down. He's able to make it out with the assistance of the double support rotation, and now 4 Alliance heroes converging on mid, but they leave Loda parked in the top lane. Feels like there's a lot of weight right now on the two space creators here for Na'Vi. General on the Slardar and Dendi on the Nyx, because the tri-lane, the supports, and that Huskar, they just haven't gotten much done.
He really needs his armlet so he can actually start fighting. With a free farming Huskar, you see an armlet out right now at 6 minutes, but does not have that much CS and no chance of Roche potential, so Alliance can rest easy for the next 5 or so minutes.
So if you're Alliance now, you get that first tier 1. Do you just sit back and farm? Do you look for more pressure while it's still nighttime?
I think you need a... maybe they can with the Edict. It is level 3, choosing that to max that over Split Earth. Just buy some time for Naga Siren. It's okay to lose a few heroes here and there, maybe similar to EGM style last game where he died a lot, but he did create a lot of space. But they don't have to force anything. As long as they're prepared for the next Assassin ganks.
It's for Na'Vi. This is a critical moment. Bottom lane General very close to the blink, but he's going to get caught out here at nighttime. Biolift, silenced up. Can't even get off the crush. Completely run down by a horde of Alliance heroes. 4 to the bottom lane. And it was EGM that started that off, and they want to transition this directly into a push, so aggression is in the cards for Alliance right now.
Dendi, no Arcane Boots yet, maybe making a move with the bottled Arcane Rune, but as long as he's on the map, Alliance have nothing to fear.
Still showing himself mid, but now he has the max stun. He is going to rotate. Arcane Boots complete to go with the Arcane Rune. And moving towards the bottom lane.
They don't have anyone else to move with them.
Well, they bring in the Slardar now. General does get off an amp damage, but still 500 gold until the blink.
Then the Vendetta under the Observer Ward that they planted. But who's supposed to gank with them? There's no Sunstrike available for him. Maybe the Oracle, but
they need the Slardar blink. That's really all they have, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, no real threats.
And good news for Na'Vi, Dayara has been getting his farm on. He's catching up in CS up to 31, and Armlet is coming soon. It's also now going to be the second daytime. So Na'Vi getting a little breathing room as Dendi looks to create space. He's got a haste ready. They may go for the tower dive here onto Ake, and he's the defensive supporter who would normally counter TP. Gets mana burned early. They're going to nuke him. Stun off the mark, though. Dendi completely whiffs that one.
And a smoke from S4 and Admiral Bulldog on the top lane, looking to catch out Didyara before he completes his armlet.
And Bulldog does have darkness, so Alliance can easily kill Didyara. Crucial time here for the Huskars. He looks to finish off the armlet. He gets off the heal. He jukes through the trees. Backup is coming. It's in the form of Seneko, and Bulldog just gets completely turned on now. Gets dunked, gets netted, clapped, beaten down, and dead. Na'Vi, they were ready for that. And Didyara really taking full advantage of the fog of war. Immediate smoke. Na'Vi, this could be an opening for them. Do they Roche? Is that what they're thinking?
General, no blink yet. No Night Stalker. Night Stalker's ult is down. I think it's a good time.
Dendi even showing himself top, so Alliance might not be expecting this, but they do have that ward around the pit. Does anybody head on?
Not just on level 6.
Doesn't look like it.
With Song of the Siren, I think they can contest, but with no Song of the Siren, there's no chance.
Didyara pretty low here. The armlet just a bit short for the recipe, but they are still working on this thing. We see 2,000 gold up on Loda. This had basically free farm, your leader in net worth, but Na'Vi are going to get a spring pad here. This might allow them to catapult themselves into the mid game now. Oh no! Na'Vi had a branch on Didyara, did not drop it in time. They end up just forfeiting the Aegis. Disastrous mistake there. That was their comeback mechanic, Ben, and it got killed by an illusion.
Yeah, it was. Not sure what else to say about that. Loda is changing up his build a little bit.
Drop your branch.
That's the obvious maneuver. I was like, man, did someone troll him? I was seeing if it was owned by him, but that only happens in pubs.
Apparently El Clasico is now a pub in your eyes. Quality Dota here at the Manila Major. These things happen under pressure, but it is a costly mistake.
Naga Siren is changing up his build a little bit. Normally he goes for Arcane Boots into Octarine. That was kind of the build that he went for. Well, we do see a smoke from Art Style and Dead in the top lane. But this time he goes for the Moon Drops. So a little bit of mana regen without committing the 900 gold. And sometimes you don't know if you actually want the Octarine or not on the Naga Siren. So I like this change up from Loda a little bit more.
Dendi, the man in front. as Na'Vi just hanging out on the high ground. Ake pokes out his head. It's almost at the worst possible time, but they had the sentry there. Dendi's diving pretty deep for this. Are they really going to commit? A secondary sentry comes out. Instant silence. The trap is sprung. There's the Chen heal, though, and Na'Vi still hunting for kills, but the entire Alliance squad is in position now. They could look to turn this. It may begin with EGM. No, just a little poke on Dendi. No more lift. Na'Vi are going to start to congregate using the double armlet strat to apply pressure here. They want to take advantage of Loda not being combat worthy at this point as he builds towards a likely fast Radiance. Doesn't have them a tower, but getting the kills, that might have given them a tier 2.
No wasted jump. No blink on Nyx, no blink on Slardar. And Alliance, they can feel free to spam telekinesis from the back line, level 3 Lightning Storm coming out from Leshrac, all while Loda is farming up his Radiance.
Farming quickly at that 5,300 net worth here. How worried are you if you're Na'Vi? You get your first tower, the Aegis does get denied. It's now nighttime again. Loda has not been challenged at all. Can they deal with this Naga at this rate?
Even aside from that, I think they're more worried about the kill score only being 2-1. You want a large scale just bloodbath if you're Huskar. You don't want a slow-paced farming game.
Well, the bloodbath might be going the Alliance way as they run on to Arts. They'll kill him off. Dendi's there in hot pursuit. I think looking for the double stun. They do manage to combo Bulldog, finishing him off with one last auto attack from Dendi, but then EGM looks to turn it, and S4 has been left unchecked in this fight, just ignoring the Leshrac. That squishy DPS, he finds the kill. EGM, though, chunked down by the angry troll. So they will get the counter kill there. Ends up being a 2 for 2. But it's 2 cores dropping, 1 for each team, 2 supports as well, 1 for each. And all the while, the time bomb continues to tick down.
And a similar story to the last game that Alliance are staving off Navi's advances 4v5. Last game was the Broodmother, this game is the Naga Siren, but Navi, they aren't ahead in kills. They're pretty much breaking even in net worth, and once Loda gets Radiance, there's going to be all sorts of issues coming out from Navi.
Alliance even ahead as far as net worth goes. At 13 minutes with a snuck Roshan, not what you're looking for. They'll have to find a way, though. If they don't, they're going home.
They need blinks, and I don't know. Even by that point, they'll get the Radiance on Naga Siren and constantly scout out. If they try and get Shadow Blades to deal with that, they just pick up a gem for Loda. So they really need to do a lot of structural damage, keep S4 under farm so that Nyx can constantly blow him up in fights. But they're just not getting any quarter.
Once that Radiance Boots of Travel comes online, you look at Na'Vi, they're okay at stopping normal split pushers, but they can't really deal with the Radiance illusions all that easily, can they, Ben?
Nope. Scar is terrible at dealing with it. Nyx, you don't want to be pushing out lanes, really, ever.
If you're not pushing them out, how do you go for the ganks? At that point, Alliance are going to see it coming a mile away. At some point, Bulldog will get an Ags, will get a gem. So Na'Vi definitely on the clock here to start finding picks, to start gaining map control, at least take some towers and limit the Naga's presence on the map. Hand of God now. Na'Vi desperately scrambling for openings, but Alliance just seem to be one step ahead of them. They stick together with 4, and all 4 of them, the vanguard for Loda, as he continues his march towards Radiance. Now the Relic online. He's closing in.
Their playstyle doesn't really match their picks. When I think of a Huskar Oracle, I think of constant tower dives with false promises, and I don't think we've seen a false promise out this game. He hasn't been level 6 for that long, but Huskar just not been in a position to really dive towers. It's just not that sort of YOLO game that you see from Huskar.
Is it just the laning stage, or is it more Navi's shot calling here in the mid game now? Because obviously the tri-lane did not go well for Na'Vi.
I don't know. It's mostly on Dit Ra. Even last game on a Timbersaw, I felt like he wasn't fighting as much as the hero should suggest. This game, he did get aggro tried and gave up the first blood, so that's kind of understandable. But you have a Huskar. You have to fight.
Normally Dit Ra does like to fight, but we just haven't seen the openings present themselves. While Na'Vi, they're going to have to forcibly create them. As Dendi moves again, another smoke committed. They are working on towers, but S4 has already taken down the mid tier 1. So Alliance just collecting freebies, deftly dodging Na'Vi as they move up into the dire jungle, and Na'Vi may end up just feeding them 2 kills. They're only sending 2 heroes to this engagement. There is a Sentry Ward in position to scout this one out. Dendi does get the blink initiation. It's only on EGM though. Huskar joins the fray. EGM dropping low, but the silence is there on General. Allows for a quick retreat, and it looks like even EGM makes it out, Na'Vi. That's just not good enough. They need these kills. They need to take the wheels off of the Naga train. Bulldog maybe the next target, but it is nighttime. That's not an easy grab. Ake will drop. Artsel getting forced back though. S4 laying into him, but here comes Huskar slamming and jamming on S4. Will bring him down. That's a bigger kill still. The Naga makes it out. It's a 2-0, but Radiance is online at 16 minutes from an aggressive tri-lane Naga.
Completely unnecessary death from S4. When you Song of the Siren and you TP out with a very low HP Rubik, your Naga Siren is definitely not going to fight. That support's not going to fight, so you're pretty much fighting 3v5. Dazzle kind of died in the process. Maybe he thought he could get a quick pickup on Shen, but that's not worth it, not when you're at 4. However, as you mentioned, they do have the Radiance online, and Na'Vi have to not be feeling happy about that.
They are starting to group up here. You can feel that bit of urgency from Na'Vi to continue applying pressure.
They can still get good jumps in fights now that they have the dual Blink Dagger.
They're going to commence the siege with the Huskar up in front. Yara, the tank, Dendi hanging back, Slaughter off to the side. Na'Vi with a bit of a spread formation here as Alliance hug the tower, send out illusions to do scouting. They are going to try to work them down, but you can already see it's just a very basic Naga Radiance illusion. Causing problems already. Bringing Yara low. It's going to be tougher to armlet toggle.
The Dragon Lance is a nice touch. It allows him to siege towers a lot more. Sometimes you'll see the Solar Crest come out, but it allows him to retreat much quicker, and his teammates can be in a much better position to support him.
Is chipping away here, brings down the creep wave. Tornado scouting ahead, and they do lay into the tower with the catapult backing up the troll. No sign that Alliance really want to fight into Yara, but they are split pushing here with Radiance Illusions in the top lane. They're not yet being threatened high ground. Oh, good deny attempt by S4. Doesn't get it though. And while that's going on, oh, Yara! It's feeling like a cursed series for him now, Ben. Another costly death.
Man,
jeez.
That's a rough one. Alliance just
You just can't afford these mistakes when you're running this type of draft.
Yeah, first with the Aegis pickup, and now this. Very unfortunate game for him. And Alliance, they're not taking any risk, not looking for any large-scale brawls with Song of the Siren down. But now that it's level 2, Na'Vi are finding smaller and smaller windows to pierce Alliance's base.
With the siege over, the Huskar dying, Alliance do move back out, 2 to the top lane. Illusion starting to spread across the map, giving Alliance not only additional farm for Loda, but denying Na'Vi the same, and a bit of vision, much needed for them. Boots of Travel should be coming here any moment for Loda, I imagine, if he wants to purchase them first. Generally is the Naga build. Yeah, he buys them now.
I think by this point, Na'Vi should have all the T2s down with the Huskar. They should have the Aegis in their possession with and be well on their way to Aegis number 2. And be ahead in net worth by maybe 5,000 or so, but none of those things have been accomplished on their end.
All right. Aegis number 2, hopefully.
Aegis number 2.
Hopefully for Na'Vi. Do Alliance consider contesting? Naga has sleep, but only BOT's Radiance. Is it worth even risking a fight?
I think they get more farm out on the map if they don't. It's too risky. You just don't want that opportunity for them. Like maybe he gets a really good armlet toggle off.
They're moving in. They are going to drop a sentry. Already the Aegis. This time, calmly scooped up by Yara. So he's got the extra life. Now he just needs to not throw it away.
He probably dropped that cursed branch on the ground and killed it. Get out of my
Killed
inventory.
it. Spun around 3 times. Threw some garlic over his shoulder. Anything to get the jinx off here.
But now they have to push out their lanes with a Nyx, a Slardar, and Huskar.
Oh, Yara, this could be a quick way to lose it. He's caught out. Oracle is behind him. Still isn't going to be enough. He jumps in. Dendi with the Ravage from the Nyx Assassin. You would have thought they picked the Tidehunter with that initiation. And Huskar things are happening now as Leshrac goes down. They're going to fight EGM 2. This is the kind of fight Na'Vi have just been desperately scrambling for. It's 2 down. It's not critical damage, though. They don't get Loda, who's just calmly farming up the top side of the map. 1,500 gold, 2,000 experience. It's nice, Ben, but it's not catastrophic.
One more fight like that, though, I think Na'Vi can start sieging the high ground. Alliance has to be very careful about engaging with that. Surely they've seen the Huskar False Promise combo before.
You can see the potential of this draft. If the Huskar has the proper help, Alliance thinking they could quickly remove that Aegis. They were very wrong.
Still, Dayura has to be careful. He might feel invulnerable with the Fate's Edict on him, not thinking that Alliance has a lot of magic damage, but they do have a decent amount of physical damage with a Diabolic Edict and a heal bomb onto Naga Illusions if it gets to that point.
Oh, Loda, he didn't actually have mana here initially for the TP out, just barely getting it. Will TP away. Bulldog is left behind, but the stun from Dendi off the mark. Had to fish in the darkness and didn't find him. So a bit lucky there by Alliance. They don't lose anyone.
Oh, 5 towers taken down for Na'Vi. They're actually pretty well on their way to all T2s being down and after the second Roche. Can they actually breach the high ground? Huskar's items are perfect for fighting if Alliance ever let them get to them.
By the way, it looked like Loda actually bought a Tome of Experience there. So I guess really looking for the fast level 3 sleep this game. Not often you see too many carries do that. But with Naga, you might be farming with your illusions. Doesn't necessarily mean you're getting the experience. So
I wonder if he's going to go for Octarine or Manta at this point. With the Arcane Beats,
what do you
certainly go for.
What do you prefer here?
I think Manta would be better. He's not using his sleep that often, although things might suggest otherwise with him using that tome.
Alliance posting up a bit in the bottom lane. We see Na'Vi starting to assemble top. Dendi scouting. The tier 2 still stands for Na'Vi, and potentially they could follow up a Nyx initiation, go for some picks. But it's now going to be all 5 from Alliance. They are really trying to limit any potential for casualties, not often going without the full squad. Tier 2 under heavy siege, Illusion scouting deeper. They do see what could be a high ground attempt by Na'Vi, and Alliance are starting to back. Potentially getting ready to TP home. Just Loda for now, up to 2,500 like you mentioned. Still, we have to see what the item selection will be.
I think Manta is better for like one big fight, which is kind of what they're leading up to with the Huskar.
Even getting the Dragon Lance early here, it feels, and now going for a cheap item in the Halberd. Na'Vi are not trying to take this super late.
They do have a buyback on Leshrac. If it comes to that, Naga doesn't really want to buy that, but she does have money for it.
All right, let's get ready to rumble. Na'Vi moving in, Dayura in front, sieging the tower. We'll see how good the spread is here. Just for now, stunning him, but the keeping the fighting shape. The slow split push comes from Bulldog. They do steal the inner vitality. Would like to see a stolen dunk. Not the case though. Illusions being dealt with on the side of this fight, but Dayura, the key thing here is just sieging that tower, bringing the tier 3 down. Still the man in front, up to 2,500 gold. The stun off the mark. They really want to safely pop this Aegis.
I would have liked to see Loda wrap around with his illusions. I think he maybe tried to skip the creep wave. All you need to do is wait out the Aegis, and then Na'Vi will be much more unwilling to push out that wave. But I think General actually slayed his illusions before they could cut him off.
Up to the high ground again. Dayura still in front. It's Dendi who jumps in, gets the pounce on S4. The dunk is there. The crush too. Na'Vi are swarming. Alliance on the back foot immediately up the fight. Dayura alive. They all retreat. They get that first pick, and they continue the siege. Now they just want to save their Aegis, get out cleanly. Bulldog hunting. They find the Lesh. He will be up here only in 15 seconds, so it's not really going to enable the push particularly, but it's a bit of extra gold. As we'll see, no more Aegis now. Roshan, full 4 minutes away. Plenty of time for Loda to farm, but that's assuming Na'Vi wait. They feel strong now. Seems like they might keep on going. It's just one big fight. You blow that song, you give up a couple kills, Na'Vi take lane and Brax. It could be lights out for Alliance. We go to a game 3.
Loda has to make sure he has enough mana. He's been constantly spamming his illusions. He didn't have enough mana to Song the Siren while S4 was getting jumped.
Silencing Dayura gives them that bit of mischance, and he's starting to drop rapidly here in the front lines. Dunks his way out of this. The reverse retreat. Don't see that one in the NBA All-Stars match, but gets him out. Now the Reaver for General. So they are tanking up here on Na'Vi. Is that the game plan at this point, Ben, do you think? Just wait for the next Roche? tank up and then go for one more super aggressive siege?
I think so. If they don't do it, they'll get to that point where they'll never be able to cross the river because of Alliance constantly split pushing out the lanes. Naga Siren should have Manta style in just a couple of minutes. I think Alliance might be strong enough to handle Na'Vi at the pit. No BKBs up on Na'Vi.
Probably the single biggest item for that is what's coming for Bulldog now. 300 gold away from an Aghanim Scepter. So Alliance will have a gem, and they will have the map pack going into that pit fight.
Yeah, they picked a gem up on Ake quite some time ago. I'm surprised they didn't put it on Loda.
Yeah, generally a good item to have on the Nagas. The illusions do get the true sight, but I suppose at this point you maybe just give it directly to Bulldog. For now, Na'Vi are trying to push the initiative here, rotating around through the Alliance woods, but as always, Alliance are playing the keep away game. They drop sentries everywhere. It's keeping the supports poor, but it's also keeping the cores safe. Na'Vi, again, will be rebutted in their effort to go in. Ira grabs the Reaver, so it's going to be 2 more tank items for Na'Vi now. And potentially them coming out before the Roche fight. Still, I think, 2 minutes to go or so here.
I think Na'Vi in a head-on fight, like not pushing up into the high ground, they will definitely own Alliance. They still don't have a good way to kill the Huskar. And with False Promise, he should heal to full with Intervid, Chen heal.
He has evasion as well here. At what point do you think they can focus him down reasonably easily? Like, what's the key items or pickups they're lacking?
It's mostly just killing the supports, killing the Oracle if you can. So, like, if they're strong enough to like get a sleep into like a BKB Zerg onto the Oracle, I think they'd be in a really good position. But that's going to be a pretty long time. Leshrac is actually very close to his BKB. 300 gold away.
As for, despite not really having the best showing since getting the Bloodstone as far as the fights go, he has kept his farm up. Right there, ahead of the Slardar, up near the Huskar, within striking distance. As Alliance begin their dewarding journey. We'll map pack out now.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's going to be a simple task for them to scout them out once they get the Scepter, and Oracle is going to have a really tough time.
Positioning becomes very important at this stage for Seneko. Era up to 2,000 gold, so that next round of tank items any moment now will fly out for Na'Vi unless they want to save for buyback. And just about 30 seconds from now, we will see the Roche respawn, and then Na'Vi will attempt to take it. Alliance sweeping forward, though. They tried to contest even the last Roshan, and now that they have map pack, they're certainly at least going to threaten here.
So Na'Vi are in a tough pickle here. If they want to take out Roche right now, they're going to have to deal with nighttime. But if they wait too long, Naga's going to get stronger and stronger, and their window is going to be cut by a few minutes.
You can see Loda up to another 1,000 gold here, sitting on top of the Yasha as well. Manta style is flying out on the Courier. So he completes his next big item. And right around this moment, Roshan's up. Na'Vi, this is what they've been waiting for.
Immediate smoke coming out from Alliance.
Will they get there in time? It's Loda out in front. Na'Vi need to break the smoke. They need to scout it. Arcsound, good position here to do it. Illusions moving forward. Loda, oh, he moves away, and they're going to get in position here. Zard coming out. The Roshan at critical HP. Loda walks in. The Radiant get the last hit. He's trying to grab that Aegis. He snatches it too. Oh, it couldn't be worse for Na'Vi. Can they possibly fight their way out from here? EGM surviving. Dityara mauling S4, but they're going to lose Arcstyle quickly. Beaten down by Bulldog. Not getting enough. They heal bomb on Dityara. That's about a quarter of his HP instantly gone. Can they keep him alive? He's dunking for illusions. He does manage to finish off the Aegis. The heal bombs from Ake. So far, the real carry of this fight, and now they will finish off for Na'Vi. Catastrophe in the pit. They didn't break the smoke, Ben.
Wow. Roshan has been Na'Vi's bane this game.
Well,
First the Aegis.
Cinderin talked about the 6th man yesterday. I think we know who the real 6th man is now.
Wow, that's absurd. Well, Naga Center was some big plays. That was just the perfect timing of sleep. Getting that slight glimpse of vision with the illusion was enough.
Dendi forced back now, and Na'Vi completely stripped of momentum and position in this game. As Bulldog pokes at art style. These could be the last moments for the men who were born to win. They seem slated to die.
It might be desperate enough to just push down one lane at this point if you're Na'Vi. Highly unlikely you're going to be able to get a Vendetta kill with a Nyx when there's a Night Stalker with Axe. And it's highly unlikely that you're going to be able to win in the late game versus a Naga Siren, who is this farmed.
Yeah, just cut the Manta, had 1,000 gold at the time. Suddenly, Octarine basically done. This is looking to be a very fast 6-slotted Naga. Again, from an offensive trialing. We used to see them way back in the day, but it's really just Alliance doing it now. So now Na'Vi, they have to collect themselves. They've been discombobulated this game, really this whole series, and this is basically the last opportunity they're going to have to get back into it.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and take it maybe a little bit later. Huskar building a heart, very good synergy with the Oracle False Promise, and maybe not all ending at this point.
JRA will try to march down mid, but you can just see how hard it is to go for that one all-in push as the lanes are just aggressively being dragged back here by Loda Illusions, pushing in the top lane, dragging mid away, now sneaking around to backstep the bottom creep wave. It just doesn't seem like they can actually commit to a push without giving up significant structural damage, and they're loath to do it right now. To get the heart on General. Na'Vi just struggling to get out of the base. And only 9-9 at 33 minutes. That really tells the tale of the game, doesn't it?
I wonder if the other Cloud's going for Satanic or Heart. I think he can have enough uptime. The snare doesn't stop your attacks. It's really only the Leshrac stun and telekinesis.
Well, CGM truly enters God mode, steals like a crusher, a Nyx stun, and lifts as well. Alliance are feeling a bit more confident though. The bottom lane pushed in. They're grouping up, getting wards down. Not feeling really rushed at all, but potentially going to look for a pick. Dendi could be a freebie. They'll send in a Naga Illusion first.
They have a shiny new Yules on Leshrac, and that's guaranteed initiation with a BKB on Leshrac. And no BKBs up on Na'Vi. I don't even know if they want to go BKBs. Most of the time you do want to go it versus Leshrac, but against Naga you'll be isolated.
I mean, DRA can dunk one illusion, but the rest of these heroes just can't kill them. You see supports dropping to half HP, just to a single Riptide in a couple of seconds of chase. General crushes and amps one and then struggles to finish it off. Na'Vi are just not really equipped to play easily from behind against this type of draft.
They're getting strangled out by the Naga Siren Radiance.
Loda choking them bit by bit here. Na'Vi are starting to feel desperate. They smoke from inside their own base with all the lanes pushing. It's actually Artstyle who gets caught out. He's sent home, tail tucked between his legs. Immediately the Chen is scrambling. As EGM moving forward in this fight is going to force down right past General, gets caught by the crush. They work on Aki, they'll bring him down, but Loda's there in the midst of it all, chewing up the backliners. They need this Huskar to go big in this fight. Bulldog just tried to man mode on him. S4 will fall though, thus far. A 2-for-1, not too shabby, and Loda says it's not really worth the risk, guys. Get out. Bulldog, time to retreat. And they're going to back off, but General hunts for this. He amps up Bulldog. EGM's there to save the day. Might cost him his own life. Stunning to Iran the process. General, does he get the crush? Does he get it? Just he does. EGM down, but they save the Naga. They do save the Night Stalker and the gem, and they get out.
And that was a great selfless play by Rubik. Surprised Night Stalker didn't have a TP there. Generally, you just want TPs on everyone. So once the Song of Siren is up, everyone TPs out. You don't lose more heroes than you have to. And Alliance just, they felt very safe up there. Even if someone immediately dies, they can just Song and just roll out with TPs. So they weren't really in that bad of a position. And Naga was like way in the back, so she's not going to get stunned from 100 to 0.
We now hit the 35-minute mark. It is a very even game when it comes to net worth, when it comes to experience. Only about a 2,500 difference. The Alliance holding a very slight edge, so numerically, close game. Do you think the numbers are really telling the tale?
There's a Naga. They can't, like, their T3s are getting siege, all 3 lanes, taking a fair amount of chip damage.
Loda currently not saving for buyback. I guess the one way that Alliance could get screwed is if he doesn't have it.
Only if the Nyx can move around, but he can't move around because of the Night Stalker Ags.
You see that swarm of purple dots on the map descending on the Na'Vi heroes as they desperately try to fight it off.
Na'Vi need a gem, for sure. There's 2 deep wards on the side of Alliance, and
just enables everything Loda's doing.
not only that, they have the 2 wards, they have 5 Naga illusions with Octarine, and they have the Night Stalker. So there's very little ways that Na'Vi can move around the map undetected.
Dendy, he pokes up the hill and he gets completely incinerated. Alliance fully ready for that maneuver. And now they're hunting for more. Art style could be next. Pulse Nova ripping through him. The Chen's down. Ditya Ra hits the stun. It gets, oh, this is bad. S4 hunting forward. Now they get up the net. The song to follow up. Are they going to work on these backline heroes? Waiting for reinforcements to arrive. They're prepping. They want someone. Who's it going to be? It's Ditya Ra. Lifted, controlled, netted again. Loda, though, gives him a dunk path out of this one. And Ditya Ra, he might make it. The Purge comes through. Alive for now. Still hanging on. But it's the Oracle who can't deal with the Naga illusions as the Riptide comes out. Seneko may end up going down. He has to heal himself instead of Na'Vi. They disengage. They do save their Huskar, but again, we just see the power of the Naga at this stage can use the song to initiate, and if it doesn't work out, just back away instead.
Na'Vi very hesitant about committing. Maybe next Roche might be the challenge, but
Third time.
fourth time.
No, we're not going to count the other one. General, sprinting away here bottom as Bulldog's on the hunt. He is going to get off a follow-up void. It seemed like Alliance were going to give up the chase, but Bulldog wanted to continue pursuit. VR moving that direction, but there's illusions already hitting the tower top lane. Alliance continuing to apply pressure, continuing to chip and poke as Na'Vi still chasing, diving for these kills. They even complete an MKB now on the Huskar.
And this is much more disciplined play from Alliance. Earlier in the game, they gave a few more kills while Loda was farming, but at this point, they know how to play this game. And they know how to play 4-on-5 while Loda does his thing. And not giving any unnecessary kills, especially when Roshan is up. It's such a crucial time for Na'Vi. If they can get this, they can extend their lifeline, maybe commit to a heavy push towards the mid lane. This T3 is only at 350 HP on Alliance's side.
Huge game here for Alliance. A win cleanly closes Na'Vi out. A loss, especially when it feels like they've been in control for 20 minutes, could give Na'Vi full momentum heading into Game 3. So they are playing it very safely. Na'Vi pretty much forced to react by the nature of the Naga. Constantly heading back home to defend, usually visible to Alliance wards, or when they're just at the creep waves.
And Alliance saving another smoke. Here they go. Kill the siege creep. No more vision. It is nighttime, but Na'Vi have no choice.
No Naga here currently. Is Loda going to come in and join this one? Boots of travel are available. Already the Roche is down, though. And Dendy wants to run up the cliff, but cliffs have not been his friend. He lets General go in first. EGM will drop. They get the Rubik early. It's these follow-up kills that really matter, though. Without them, Na'Vi are not able to go high ground because they're getting poked and prodded and just basically dying by 1,000 cuts to Loda. First tier 3 down. It feels like a hollow Roshan so far for Na'Vi.
Very surprised Loda didn't commit way harder to that T3 on top. If he ever feels like he's unsafe or Nyx could possibly be sneaking up on him, they have no PKBs. They cannot stop his Song of Siren into a TP. He does get the T3 at the end of the day. I still feel like he could be doing much bigger structural damage.
See Seneko getting hurted back by a single illusion here. They get one BKB now, though, Ben. We do see one come out for the Slardar. Still, do you think Na'Vi need like 3 BKBs here? Is it something where the Nyx even has to go for one as well?
I think so, just because of Yul's initiation from Leshrac. Leshrac will be always trying to kill the Nyx assassin during his BKB, or else the mana burn will just crush his life.
Na'Vi still hugging their base, not really by choice, but more by necessity. And Alliance just waiting, letting Loda accumulate gold on top of gold, piles pouring in. He's now very near a heart. Actually has it, but is being a bit more reserved with his spending habits at the current moment, saving for the buyback. And BOT's back to top. Just continues that game of keep away.
I still think it's a little slow. Maybe he's scared because he doesn't have the gem. It seems like he's constantly fearing the Nixus and thinking that, oh, he might not have enough mana to like sleep and TP out immediately afterwards.
Here come the Bash Bros. General moving in. He has committed a BKB for this fight. He gets the Bash of Bulldog. That's crucial timing. Does he get a follow-up? He amps. General, is he going full Defy here? No, he says, I can't do it. He backs away.
And Loda had an illusion on the bottom lane. And look at where that wave is. That was Navi supposed to push in that bottom lane. And they'll eye out mid. See that Loda's pushing on top. And maybe we'll have to reconsider a push for another day.
Takes out some of his rage there on the Naga illusion. Die! Does kill it, but
they're really searching for blood. Still 2.5
they have ages. Like, they should be the ones, in an ideal world, applying pressure, choking Alliance, and going for kills, but it's the Naga effect in action. Long has been a scourge of many a team.
And now Alliance making a play on top. If they don't commit like 2 heroes to push, they can just sleep and initiate on them if all 5 of them are up here. But that'd be going in pretty deep, and you'd be fighting into an Aegis.
2 more minutes to go on it. Navi, if you just did like a heat map of their movements, I feel like 80% of the last 20 minutes has been in the upper right quadrant of the map. Constantly running away from illusions. I mean, this is Snakeo's life now. Just crying quietly.
Maybe trying to get an initiation. He does have a gem of his own. And a small window where it is daytime, and Bulldog won't see him.
Got the Salkuras up now. Oh, it's nighttime again. And Dendy's still going for it. He gets a stun on S4 to start this one off. Mana Burn to follow it up. Carapace comes through, but the lift there does no damage. Prevents the further level of initiation while Illusions shove out that bottom lane, along with the actual Naga, who has committed herself visibly. So Loda immediately puts a complete halt on any sort of Navi aggression. Doesn't take much to bring them back.
And with that, Navi will have a really difficult time of making use of their Aegis, considering there's only 1 minute left. So a little bit of rage damage on the top racks, but Navi still with the eternal struggle pushing out against the Radiance. How will they solve this?
Hopefully better than Sisyphus. Some say he's still pushing that boulder to this day.
I guess maybe they can get like a...
BOTs. Maybe BOTs will help.
No AoE though, and that's only 1 lane. They need like multiple heroes that can push it out. Dendy with a Scepter and BOTs could do it, but he's only a Neck Assassin with no minus.
I mean,
he's
actually,
number 7 on network.
Level 2 BOTs are pretty interesting this game as we see the Huskar update are out by them, because they have great late, or like deep zone delivery vehicles here. They have the Nyx, they have the Slardar, heroes that are going to be hunting for kills. He can be push out a lane and then show up suddenly like right outside the Alliance doorstep. Maybe it'll prove to be the difference. General, though, getting lifted here. Dendy comes in, though. Big stun. Follow-up crush likely to come through, but the BKB's out from Bulldog, and Bulldog is just banging away at General, forcing him back. EGM fine for now. The Grave is going to prevent any sort of aggressive maneuver here. Alliance actually bringing the whole squad to the fight. They have already committed the song for this one, but Dendy's in too far. He's down. They bring down the Naga. They slay Loda. Oh, that's the one here. Alliance simply cannot afford to lose. A gem now hits the floor. Does Navi chase for more? Dunking on to S4, 4-step back. He'll make it out. Loda using the song very early in that fight and then sticking around, Ben.
Yeah, BKB's making a difference there. And General is very tinky with Armlet and Heart and able to stay alive, kind of 1v4 in the middle of that fight. Not really that much physical damage output that goes to the BKB. And I'm very surprised that Naga Siren did stick around towards the end of that engagement. But I guess if he TVs out, the rest of his 4 teammates die.
The Naga is so important that it almost feels like it's kind of even if it's the 4 teammates or the Naga dies.
Yeah, it kind of is. Especially with the Bloodstone up on Leshrac, it's not that big of a deal if he dies at this point.
Well, they do zero in on Art Style now, though. Down near his own Ancients, far away from home and from any sort of help. He prays to the Ancients to deny him. They do not heed his prayer. But General might avenge him. A bash on EGM slays him. God mode is over. General is on the prowl, looking for Ake next, gets dunked, gets controlled, muscled down by the Huskar. This is the kind of snowball that Alliance can't afford to be giving up. They need that Naga to get involved. Loda's here, holding onto the song for now. They've lost both supports. There's a buyback, and General is silenced. There's the song. It might have actually been allowing Na'Vi to reset Alliance. How do they follow this one up? General's healing. The heart's starting to tick in. Did that song really make any sort of a difference? Oh, they did find Dendi down the backside, but Dityara arrives, gets quickly stunned by EGM trying to counterplay. Dendi kept alive by Seneko, the Oracle there doing the work. Bulldog, Dityara moving in onto Loda. Loda has no song. Loda's gonna go down. Huge kill. That's 2 in a row. The lanes are pushing against Alliance. Mistakes have been made. They have not taken a lane of Rax yet. We're 47 minutes in, Ben. They don't even have great answers to the Naga illusions, but Alliance coming to head-on clashes, losing the Naga twice. Loda may have to buy back.
What happened to the shot calling from Alliance? It was so clean in that mid-phase of the game, and now they're looking to take fights against Na'Vi when they have the Aegis, when they don't have their lanes pushed out, when their Naga Siren was dead at the start of that fight. Naga didn't have BOTs or Song of Siren when they chose to continue to engage. This is crazy. I thought Alliance had this easily in the bag.
Well, just a mistake here or there, and Na'Vi find their footing. As dangerous as the state of the game might be, it's like giving Na'Vi that little bit of confidence that they were lacking earlier could be the even more poisonous part of it for Alliance.
But
now Alliance is trapped in their base.
I think it can get close to that point where Huskar might be immortal. If he has Armlet Heart or Armlet Satanic, let's say, with the MKB, there's nothing to stop him from leeching with Intervit on him.
And we get to a point where Alliance do not have burst damage here. They have a lot of sustained damage against a hero that can easily deal with it in the form of the Huskar, and someone that can keep him alive in the form of the Oracle. BOT's level 2, the choice for Loda now. Seems even more commitment to the split push cause is the goal. Aegis now, snagged by General. Send home Dityara. Na'Vi, well, the Roshan hasn't been that good to them this game. This one taken for free, and this one taken at a moment when there is cause for hope for the Na'Vi fans here.
And Slaughter does an incredible amount of damage, even with just Armlet and Heart, due to the nature of amplified damage. 20 armor reduction, and no Vlads, no AC on Radiant side, and very few armor items. Just a plate mail, I think, coming out from left side. But Alliance should never really have gotten it to the point where Na'Vi can take fights to them.
The hunting. He blinks forward. He goes for the stun. It's a swing and a miss. Backup is coming though. Dityara. He doesn't care that Dendi missed that stun. He wants to fight anyway. Illusions are slightly working here on the mid tower though. Bringing it lower and lower. By the way, I do want to mention, art style is still even with the enemy Leshrac in net worth at 49 minutes. This guy knows how to farm on Chen.
And it really prioritizes his farm. And he had the Chen very similar to last game. And Nagasara, what do you get at this point? She is 6 slotted, but she doesn't have a solution to the evasion on Huskar.
Oh, the BOT level 2s are going to come into play here. That mana burn really hurts. S4, BKBs, doesn't have a teleport available. The BOT's on cooldown. Goes for the self-Yules. Loda there. Song already committed relatively early as he looks to retreat out. And Loda, the song cancel is going to end up going down. Na'Vi slaughter him, the bigger prize. That's 3 deaths in a row without anything for Alliance in the meanwhile. What is going on in Alliance land?
Slight mistiming of the CTP out coming out from Naga Siren, and a couple of mistakes by Dityara and the rest of Na'Vi around the Roshan pit, but these mistakes are far more costly on the side of Alliance, and Loda in particular.
Na'Vi just marched down mid, and Loda for the first time does have to actually buy back here. He'll have the song ready. It's already back up with the Octarine. But top lane looks like Dendi. They're doing it again here. The BOT level 2s. Bulldog with a quick TP out. Will make it. 3 heroes suddenly just swarming onto him. I thought Pit Lord hadn't gotten released yet.
Yeah.
Started
the
to feel that way.
BOT2s is surprisingly effective versus the split push from
But
Loda.
should it have gotten to this point?
They should have been
51
able to
minutes
win
in.
those couple of fights. Now he has finally turned that Reaver into something else. They say Tana completed for Ditya. Raw BOT2s at the ready. And at this point, it doesn't seem like any of Navi's heroes are scared of dying when they push out the lanes, which is a very big issue.
Yeah, with the buyback on cooldown, like, can Loda actually risk leaving the base before it's up again?
Nope. And he doesn't have room for a gem.
The other issue, I mean, he's basically done farming unless you want to start juggling items on a courier as well. Is there anything you would even swap out at this point? Diffusal,
Obviously,
2
Diffusal
you could
2.
get, but beyond that?
He needs armor. I don't know how he's supposed to get more armor. Amp puts him at 20, or at just 3 without the T3 armor aura. Which, with a heart, he's still going to drop supply too quickly.
There's a TP over towards bottom, and they are moving in onto the Night Stalker of Bulldog. Oh, he gets bashed! Bulldog. Every dog has his day. But Bulldogs is over for now.
And this is the time. Naga Siren, no buyback. Night Stalker in the grave with buyback at the ready. Aegis on Navi's side. They want to end it now.
And Day is not what the dog wants right now. He wants the nighttime. And the game will cooperate and provide it to him. But Navi are hitting buildings here. This is something Loda has been really praying to do, and all of a sudden Navi, they swarm in. They get to work, beating at Alliance's front door. El Clasico suddenly shaping up a bit here. Game 2, the crowd getting behind them. Alliance will have to take a defense. They can't just forfeit 2 lanes of racks for nothing. Loda sending in illusions. The real hero reluctant to move in, but Ditya is full raid boss mode. They have to go on him. They can't just sit back and watch these buildings drop for free. He doesn't care about tower damage. He doesn't care about Radiant Illusions. Maybe the backlines do, but they're going to lift him. They drag him back in. The Leshrac gets to work. Ditya turns, pops the ultimate. S4, Gustav, he can't handle it. Well, Bulldog gets beaten down by General. Navi just clubbing Alliance in the mouth. They can't take the pain. They got to get out. Dendi popping the cheese, and Alliance, no Bulldog. That's a dieback. Who would have thought a 53-minute free-farm Naga Siren game would go like this? But here we are with Alliance getting their ideal game plan and not able to push it far enough down the stretch. They have to find a winning fight now. Navi are going to rotate directly on bottom otherwise. Maybe they heal and then do it. Creeps are at the base, but you know that death push is coming soon. Where is your Naga now?
Wow. Oh, they had no mana on Slaughter. I was surprised they didn't just send him back and BOT2 back in, but...
Everybody's getting BOT2s.
Dude, the BOT2 was a stroke of genius by Navi picking it up so early before completing their other items. I don't know whose call that was, but that kind of saved their mid to late game.
That's literally Pit Lord in the game. That is quadruple BOT2s. Dendi is a mobile teleport for the whole team. Navi are literally going to apparate. This is like the Protoss entered the world of Dota.
Yeah, it's owning.
Alliance just have to not get caught. As he will, they will send the starter out top, so they're not going to go for the full all-in here or anything like that. But Loda, he's out pretty far. He is going to avoid for now General, but General just diving, streaking in because he knows the whole team's there. Hello, Ake. Likely goodbye, Ake, any moment. They're trying to keep him alive. Loda with the song into just into a TP out. He will make it. Song now ends, and they continue to chase deeper and deeper. Bulldog doesn't have the buyback, I believe. Needs to be careful about this. You can just see the game is on a knife's edge for Alliance. They have to push the lanes out so Navi don't just 5-man down bottom, but as soon as they leave the base, they're at risk for the 5-man ambush. BOT is cooling down on Loda for a little bit longer, but I don't even know if he can stop this thing, Ben. In they go. General up in front. The beefcakes have arrived. How do they slay these tags? Dendi, first a stun. The initiation has begun. Hits EGM1, sends him home, packing Alliance. They might have to go to game 3 for this. They just can't withstand the Navi onslaught. Diving them past the tier 4 towers. Loda songs, it delays for a moment. No one's dying. There is no split push. This is not a solution, Alliance. They have to find the fight. They just can't. Ake getting nuked down. Navi can turn back for buildings now. Loda moves in again. Ditya donkey his way out. It's almost Megas. And they've done it. Navi have done the virtually impossible against a free-farm, ultra easy 6-slot Naga. They're just winning these fights. They have buybacks ready even if they need them. Ditya, the human raid boss, he's winning the fight against Loda and an entire illusion army. It takes 4 to slay Ditya, but that was for Megas. They all have buyback.
And Alliance have done it against worse odds, but they are in quite the pickle. And even 5-on-1, it looks 4-on-1 rather. It looks very difficult to slay Ditya.
I can only imagine what they're thinking right now in the Alliance, but it's like, where did it all go wrong? How are we in this position? You mentioned the BOT2s as being a huge item for Navi, but if you're Alliance, how did we get to this point?
Might be back to the earlier question that you asked is if Admiral Bulldog isn't on a scaling forward, what happens to their late game?
Was Winter right after all? He usually is.
It was a nice change of pace for them. I still think they should have won it given the start that they had with the multiple Aegises, but not aggressive enough with making the most out of their super farm Naga Siren. Now it's coming to this.
The death march begins. The creeps moving towards the Alliance base. It's just going to be stalling tactics from Navi. They don't want to blow buybacks here. Might even be willing to forfeit a lane if that's what's required. Dendi dropping fairly low, but is protected by Seneko and Hardstyle. The supports bodyguarding him back safely to the warm embrace of the fountain. And those creeps, top and bottom, marching in. Alliance get a free lane of Rex, but Navi want to have the power play here for the big team fight. No buyback on Nightstalker, nothing on the Leshrac, so they will have extra lives. It's actually a second lane of Rex. Alliance are really committing for this, and they will bring down 2. Uncontested, but Megas are in the Alliance home. They are wrecking Swedish buildings right now.
And Ditya realizing that as long as Alliance don't get Megas, they're still in a pretty good spot in choosing to sacrifice 2 sets of racks for not using his buyback. Seemed like a pretty good decision for him.
How often do you say sacking 2 lanes of racks is a good decision? That is a very uncommon scenario, but
when you have
I think you're right.
A lot of things become strange. You can get Maelstroms on Witchstalkers and it sounds legit.
Hey, it's Navi versus Alliance, man. They just get weird.
So Naga Siren has bought a Moon Shard. Surprised he hasn't bought out all the tomes. That's what you want to do when you're 6-slotted, 7-slotted Naga rather. Buy out all the tomes, buy out all the gems, buy out all the off-boards, secondary wards. It should be littered with eyes on the side of Alliance to make sure that they don't get the jump in their base, but looks like Navi trying to get Roshan number 5?
I think it's 6. I think it's 6. It's a lot. Navi into the pit. No contest from Alliance. Actually scanning their own woods. Terrified that Navi will move in. So they get the Aegis now. They are going to have the cheese here. And this gives Navi a lot of extra lives to work with. They have 4 buybacks, Aegis and cheese. Alliance only hold 2 buybacks. One of them will cool down, but Bulldog isn't even close to the cold. He's 1,300 short, so they have a lot of bodies, Ben. And those bodies are swarming at Alliance.
Even perhaps some more with the send back BOT2. Could be 9, 10. Inner bid, false promise.
No split push here. Navi, blood in their eyes. They see tier 4s. They're going to let the creeps assist. The Naga Radiance Illusion valiantly trying to shove out mid, but intercepted one in the mid by Slardar. Blinks and crushes it. And Alliance just waiting. They'll leave the siege engine in front. Ditya, he probably never thought it would get to this, but here comes Loda, dropping the song, unloads the illusions. Some illusions continue to script mid, but Navi are going to go for tier 4s. They have to try and actually take a team fight here. There's the Dunko to S4. Can they slay Ditya? No, they want Seneko instead. Looking to bring down the Oracle, trying to isolate him on the backside, but somehow that Oracle just won't die. Loda, though, doing work. Everything for Seneko. Can they get him? Rubik's down. Dazzle is fallen. Then the stun from Dendi. Loda's going to drop. That's about to be 3, possibly 4. Loda forced to scramble home. There's no counter push. Navi, they pulled off the miracle here. 3 out of the game. How did it come to this for Alliance? They had this in the bag, but they couldn't close Navi out. We're going to a game 3. There's nothing left here for the Swedes. Navi lives to fight another day. Loda will take a moment to think about it, but there you have it. They're born to win, at least for this one, Ben.
And shying away from their tried and true formula, which has gotten them this far in the tournament. Alliance drop one versus Na'Vi. It will end up even, 1-1.
This looked like a very quick and decisive 2-0, did it not? First 30 minutes in, everything going according to plan for Alliance on paper. You mentioned the BOT level 2s as being the key decision by Na'Vi that really let them turn the game around, but was there anything Alliance could have done before that to close them out?
They didn't really have any physical damage to go super, super late, and I thought that they would try and end the game before then as soon as Naga got their 6 slots, but he was very hesitant at pushing up the base. What did our other guys think?
Well, Na'Vi's back. Let's see what they think.
Yes, good stuff indeed. Na'Vi is back in the game. How are you doing down there? We heard some rumours, LD, that you guys get massages and stuff in between games. Is that right?
Sure. Ben rubs my back. Tells me to cast better.
The panel
he
here
smacks me as well.
Yeah, the panel here, they were gobsmacked halfway through that game. They were just like blown away, mouths open. How do you guys keep talking down there?
Well, it was a Naga game, you know. You're snoring a little bit
Gotta
there in the middle.
the fans?
Yeah, the fans.
They're
it
all
felt
cheering
like
for Na'Vi?
The fans like dragged Na'Vi back into that game almost towards the end. They get one kill and the crowd explodes.
I think you should be careful as well, LD. I can see fans behind you. You might get dragged off into the crowd if you're not careful.
Yeah,
so
the Bulldog fans.
They were actually
please.
the ones giving you a massage.
Yeah, they're not the kind of massage I'm looking for right now, man.
Thank you very much. LD and Melody will rejoin them for Game 3 very shortly. Let's break it down in Game 2, though. What a sensational game from both teams. Alliance in charge, and then Na'Vi come roaring back into the game. Plenty to talk about, so let's break it down with our experts. Purge, where do we start with this game?
I thought Alliance had that one in the bag. They played the early game very well. They aggressively tri-laned the Huskar, which is a counter against him until he gets a couple levels. He's a bit weak. And they had command. There was even some big mistakes. Ditira armlet toggled poorly mid, and it got him the easiest kill ever. They stole Aegis with like 1 second to go.
They denied the Aegis.
And they denied the Aegis. Like, everything looked in their command with the exception of the fact that Na'Vi kept taking really fast Roches. So other than that, it just looked like the game was over.
Na'Vi taking really fast Roches, and they had this, it's like a very strong dual core. General got so massive toward the later stages game, and with amplified damage plus a Huskar who's unkillable, we could say.
Out of control.
How can Alliance really respond? It's pretty much all in on Loda. Bulldog wasn't able to get much farm, and I feel like it kind of, me and Charlie were kind of looking at each other, and we're like, we're not really too happy with the way that Alliance was positioning themselves all over the map. Like, sometimes it was like you could tell Loda's 100% committed to the split push, and the rest of his team goes for like a kill on the Huskar. They lose 3 heroes. Then another situation is happening where Loda's doing another split push thing. One of the lanes is not being pushed out completely, and we see 3 or 4 of Alliance heroes just sitting behind their tier 2, not doing anything, just kind of lurking back and forth. So I don't know. I feel like maybe they just felt the pressure so much from this Huskar.
I mean, if you look at it, it's Loda gets real great start, 6 slotted Naga real fast, but you know who fell behind? It was S4.
Yeah.
He didn't output enough damage. Loda's off split pushing, and all the while Alliance is fighting S4, and S4 is constantly dying. He's not getting ahead in farm. He's not picking up the items he needs, and then all of a sudden you're all in on a Naga that gets 6 slotted real fast. It's not enough for Alliance.
And the itemization from Na'Vi was just pretty much perfect. You know, Seneko picking up the early pipe really messes up with Leshrac. They have all the heals for the Huskar already, and then just these little tiny tweaks. AC on Chen, Vlad's on Chen. They have so many auras just to save them versus the potential of just a solo Naga carry. And Night Stalker just really wasn't able to do much either because he couldn't find farm.
Yeah, they thought that they would be fine if they just got Ags and started team fights well, but it wasn't really like that. This is the best timing I've ever seen. I can barely see any HP there on Roche. Quite the easy pickup here.
Takes the cheese, eats it, grabs the Aegis. Huge fight.
But every fight was still a pretty hard stretch for them. Like, S4 he was very countered this game. They didn't have good Huskar solutions, and that worked until 45 minutes or so, 40 minutes or so, even against Oracle. But at some point, they just didn't do enough single target damage. They needed a hero that was a typical carry.
Yeah, in that fight, you could see the Dazzle Shadow Wave did one of the most damages in that fight just because the illusions and because of the weave just started to build up. It was really hard for them to get the Oracle out of position and isolate him. Seneko 3-1 and 14. 1 death on that Oracle.
I think what you've seen out of this patch is that you can split push all you want, but eventually you have to win a team fight. Yeah. You still have to be able to do that. And Alliance, when it came down to it, they were just a 6-slotted Naga, and he didn't have the backup he needed to be able to fully wipe out Na'Vi.
And there was a lot of pretty big mistakes, honestly. Loda canceling, well, he TP'd late. That's why he canceled his TP, because he knew his song was almost done. He was going to get stunned. They were just always trying to cover each other a bit. Maybe not always, but sometimes it led to heroes dying that didn't need to die, and then Alliance is on the back foot. But I think they definitely needed to minimize their deaths in the early game. Once they got Radiance, the game was kind of straightforward. Did they really need to try to kill Huskar? They could have maybe just split push, gotten some map control, and then eventually high ground. But all those deaths really added up. It accelerated Huskar's items. It got him to that stage where he was sort of unkillable.
If you notice, Alliance never took a Rax. Despite all that split push,
Yeah.
it was Na'Vi had great base defenses, very scrappy, kept in it, even while getting split pushed by the Naga.
It seemed like it was Chen. I mean, his farm was like 3rd on his team, which is super incredible.
Both games, Art Styles' farm on
Yeah.
this Chen has been insane. Picks up the Greaves, the Aghnums, and then even gets an AC afterwards.
It was really worth it this game too. The large creep, the one that looks like a dinosaur, you can amp up attack speed. It works great on Slardar. It's essentially more than a moon shard, I believe.
Yeah, the amount of auras coming out from Na'Vi, you know, what we were saying. They had the pipe on Seneko, they had Vlad's on Chen, AC on Chen, they have the ancient creeps, which have the bonus life, bonus armor, bonus attack speed like you were talking about, and it just ended up, it added up so much. It's a Naga almost by himself versus all these different things.
And she's not very good. She's not built for right click. She's built for split push and Radiance burn and lower cooldowns and all these things. It's not a hero that is going to perform well against that many auras.
Yeah, you can just look at the fights, and it's, I mean, at this point, they are, you know, Navi's quite ahead. They're just way too massive. The Slardar is pretty much six-slotted on top of the Huskar, and they can't kill either of them.
I think the only item that Alliance maybe could have bought that might have given them a slightly better chance of winning this was an Ags on Dazzle to just super reduce the armor of Huskar. But even that, I don't know if that was a solution, and it's not like it's something that he could have farmed rapidly. But everything else they bought, I thought, made a lot of sense. They got 2 Heaven's Halberds to stop the Huskar from attacking. They got a Solar Crest on the Dazzle, same principle, lowers his armor, but he got the MKB so fast, so evasion stopped being a solution. And once that hit, Huskar just did whatever he wanted, every fight.
I think they needed disables like Sheep or something to just lock down a hero like the Huskar or the Slardar, and then go take the fight from there.
Yeah, it was. We were saying it too. It's so hard to get into that back line of Na'Vi. The Slardar in the front line, the Huskar in the front line, plus all the Chen creeps. Yeah, like you have to give this guy the MVP.
Except for that one death.
Except for that one.
That one was pretty funny.
Yeah, and I guess you could kind of say that not dropping his item for the Roshan,
Yeah,
that
was
denying it, but
yeah.
you know that could have just been a miscommunication between them.
I mean, it's a high-pressure match.
High pressure. Yeah.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Probably says, do I take Aegis or you? And that 1 second hesitation is all it takes. But he played amazing, definitely.
With the steal and the deny, did Loda come close to?
If Alliance had won the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Allied had won the match, it was definitely Loda MVP here, but unfortunate for them.
Indeed. So we're tied up at 1-1. Let's look ahead to Game 3. I saw Na'Vi have already come back into their booths as well. Alliance, I'm sure, will be shortly back as well. Where do we go from here? It's exactly what we wanted as neutrals. We wanted 3 games. We wanted it to be best of 3 and have these fantastic battles which we've had in Game 2 between these two. Which way does it go now in Game 3? Regardless of your prediction.
Who knows? Both of these games have been pretty crazy. Very back and forth.
Yeah.
These teams know each other so well. They've played against each other so many times. I think it just comes down to who's less scared, who recognizes their advantages and just goes in and takes the fight, and forget about the crowd, forget about the pressure and everything else. Just play your own game.
Easily done in the cauldron of the main stage.
Yes.
But at the same time, I don't want to be too dismissive of the two teams in the way that they've played, but there have been mistakes. Okay, so is this about minimising them and making sure they don't make any mistakes or as little as possible so that they aren't able to be capitalised on by the opponent? Is it that high pressure right now?
You're always going to make mistakes. There's no game of Dota that's perfect. It's less about minimizing mistakes, but I think it's also